Welcome back to 13C. Today we're back out with the IWI Galil Ace pistol. We're specifically going to be mostly focusing in on this rail from RS Regulate. This is the GAR 6M-N. They make a number of different rails for the different Galil rifles and pistols. If you're going to wind up getting one, make sure you get the right one that fits whatever rifle or pistol that you have. They have 5-inch, 6-inch, 10 and 14-inch. Make sure you're ordering the right one because each of those have different gas link systems. There are different ways they mount up. The 5.56 one right here, this pistol one for example, will not fit on any of the other 7.62, 3.9 or 3.08 pistols. You're gonna need to order specifically for one of those, so keep that in mind. As we're going through this, really important to make sure you get the right one. Now, one of the biggest dings that I had with the initial review and then even kind of following up in the silencer video is the factory handguard up front for this. It's bulky, it's a little heavier probably than it should be, and it just doesn't look right on the rifle or the pistol. So one of the things that did do well is actually it dissipated the heat pretty well and vented the heat up and out. So that's something we're going to be comparing on this here pretty soon. We've got a bunch of mags, we're going to run out, we're going to dump them and see how hot this gets. I've got my heat gun out there as well. We'll see not just to the touch, but we'll try and get some heat readings on here. So we have a little bit of actual data on that as well as we go through this. This rail is going to drop a little bit off from the factory, a couple ounces from the factory rail, which is nice. And of course, obviously, you get your M-lock as opposed to the 1913 once you slide those tabs off there on the original OEM model. On the sides, you also have two QD slots, one here and one here as well. So if you want to attach your QD sling to the front of there, you can. Obviously, your M-lock running all the way front to back. You've got 3 panels on each side here, 3 full-length panels. You can utilize those. And you've got the rest of the scalloping on here that shaves off some weight. The way they're cut looks like it adds a little bit of rigidity and stability to it. Speaking of which, in the front for that, they've got a brace, or a cross-section of metal here that firms it up to prevent any kind of collapse, which is nice to see. It bolts securely here with 2 cross bolts, and then with two small bolts here, and then the 1 large cross bolt that goes along the back. When you're handling this, it is, when you install it, this is 100% rock solid. When I say that, I mean it. There is zero movement on here. So it mounts up nice and tight. That one of the reasons why is because it is specific to each single variant. So obviously make sure you don't get the wrong one, otherwise you're gonna have to send it back and you're gonna be disappointed you gotta wait on it. Mates up really nice here at the back as well. Shaves off a couple ounces from the factory OEM handguard. I think I mentioned that. And these are going to be coming in a couple different color schemes. We had talked to them before. I believe this specific pistol one right now, since it just launched a couple weeks ago, is still only in black. But some of the other models, and probably ultimately this one as well, it's going to also come in their Desolation and Wasteland colors as well. We talked about that some. If you want to learn a little bit more, some of that, well, we've got a video when we talked with Scott with RS Regulate at Big 3 East. Probably 6 months ago roughly. So you might, if you want to, go back and check in the archives and you'll learn a little bit more about this from the factory and some of the thought processes behind it when they made this, and when it was in development. I think that covers all the highlights. Let's get out on the range. We're still going to be working on these magazines from Mission First Tactical, enjoying some reliability testing on them. So far they've done very well. We'll dump a bunch of rounds really quick through here today and some of the heat testing. Obviously our low profile belt here from High Threat Concealment still rocking on as well, so I don't have to carry too many of those magazines on me. I can just work right out of the belt system. Anyway, let's hit the range and get some rounds. So I'm sitting here tonight editing video and I realized I didn't talk about what's probably one of the most important things that we should touch on, and that is getting this factory handguard off. To take it off, obviously the panels are easy. Push down on the button, slide them off. It reveals your 1913, which would be on both sides, and then the bottom. That's not the hard part. The hard part is getting these factory OEM bolts out. They use, rock set, Loctite, I don't know. But whatever's in here, it's stuck good. So I wound up stripping out the screw on the left-hand side. I wound up getting a removal tool. I burnished it. I tried to back it out that way. Still wouldn't go. Finally, I had to cut it with a Dremel and get the biggest flathead screwdriver I could in there to crack it loose. And that was after boiling hot water and soaking the front end of the pistol in boiling hot water for 30 to 60 seconds. I was able to get it out. And I went over to this side. I put it back in boiling hot water, 30 to 60 seconds, took it out, and then with the T27 I jammed it in there, and I was able to crack this guy loose and get this one out without stripping it. So on this side, so keep that in mind. You're going to take this off. Heed the warnings that I initially ignored. Do something to overcome that Loctite in there, or whatever it is that's in there, because it is insanely hard to get off, and you're going to be really frustrated and have a bad time doing it if you don't take some of those steps ahead of time. Anyway, I'm going to get back to the editing video. Thanks for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. So we're going to try and go between wind gusts here. Hopefully, if it does get crazy windy, we can drop some of that out in post. Otherwise, once we start, we don't want to stop because we're testing for the heat residual off this guy. Let's get started. Obviously, a little too soon to be feeling really much of anything, but as we keep going, she's going to warm up. There we go. We are empty, and she is hot. Here, check out, can you see the boiling red lock that's on the top of this from where some of it melted out earlier? That is crazy. Here, I'm actually gonna try and, I have my phone in my back pocket here. I don't know how well that's gonna show up there, but man, I wanna take a look at that. We're gonna actually record this while we're recording me. Check that out. That Loctite that was in there is literally boiling. That is crazy. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus in on that right there. Anyway, that's pretty wild. Sorry, I thought that was really quite interesting. Anyway, there she is. Let's start getting some temperature readings on here. So on the back of the rail here, looking about 129 degrees versus the top cover, which is 95. Our optic for our baseline, shooting the optic, is 62.5. This front sight post, see if I can get a good reading on that, 212 degrees. Yeah, we got 212 degrees in this very top portion here. Let's go ahead and take our hand back to this. Still, it's not bad. I mean, I'm holding on to it. Here, check this out. Let me get you guys a reading on there. See if we can get that to read where we're at there. Check that out, 213. You see that? Hopefully. 220, 227. The top of our rail is about 112. Inside here, 160s. And our rail itself is in the 120-ish range, which is still all right to hold on to. I'm holding it here, and it's not burning me. The little nut here is actually a little hot. That nut's reading about 150. So you wouldn't want to hold on to one of these nuts too long. Those are screwed right into it. But the rail itself, I mean, I can feel the heat coming off of this barrel. And like I said, I mean, we're still, where's our rail here? 200. We're still in the 200 range. There's 194. Kind of hard to shoot right down in there. Our muzzle device is 231 degrees. So anyway, that gives you an idea. Here, let me disconnect this so you can see I'm actually holding it here. If I can stick this in my pocket here. And we're not supporting it with anything. So there you go. Like I said, you don't want to touch that little screw that's in there, but the rail itself, check that out, 170. We'll see how much we're dropping down here. 176 still on the top of that. Our muzzle device is still in the 200s, and the rail itself here, while we're holding it, is in like the 120-ish range. And 120 to hold on to in something like this is not that bad. So obviously I'm doing it here. I'm not getting burned. Let me take this earplug out. Sorry, hopefully I wasn't yelling at the camera there trying to overcome this wind, but as you can tell, that is not bad at all. Again, that back cross bolt that actually bolts into the that top portion there, you want to watch your fingers on that. But it's not that hot. Actually, I think that back bolt there is actually significantly lower. That says 108 there, 102, 101, already down to 102. Let's see how this bolt is dropping down to. That bolt's actually down into the 130s now. Whereas our top rail here is still in the 170s. Muzzle device is still 190s. So there you go. Our thing is open, obviously, so we've got air venting through there. And as I said, I'm not sure what the air temperature is. The optic says it's still 62.5 degrees. A little bit of sun been hitting on it. It's black, so not sure there. I thought it was about 59 degrees when I came out here. Could have warmed up just a little bit. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully that answers your questions on the heat and the fact that there is no, this is vented completely open here. There's no actual heat shield in here. So that was the biggest question that I wanted to make sure we answered. That was 90 rounds fired relatively quickly, and it's I'm gonna have to put those pictures from the phone in there because I really can't get this guy focused in here, but check that out. That's where the that red Loctite that was in here that I talked about earlier melted the bejesus out of that, heating it up. Maybe that's what I should have done. Maybe I should just dumped 3 mags through it real quick and then unscrewed the factory ones. Anyway, I'm digressing. Thank you so much for joining us. Facebook.com/gun reviews. Who knows how long we're going to be here on YouTube, but check us out, full30.com. We are live over there now. And the most important thing you can do to follow in with us is visit the website, 13cgunreviews.com, 13c.us. There on the right side of the page, there's going to be an area you can sign up for our mailing list. It's administered through MailChimp, so they hold on to the information there. Very secure site. At least much more secure than what you're getting on Facebook anyway. But I digress. Allegedly, the security of Facebook. I don't want to get in trouble there and I'm getting sued by the sue-happy yahoos over there. Anyway, thanks everybody. Instagram, we're at 13C Gun Reviews. We really appreciate your support. It goes a long way to help. If you like this content, share, subscribe, and we're just going to keep plugging on. They're not going to be able to silence us. Between all these different outlets that are trying to keep our voice down and dinging us with strikes and hits and everything else, we're going to do our best not to get kept down. So anyway, thanks everybody. Stay safe, and we'll talk soon.